The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our main website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. The X-Zone store has reopened at www.thexzonestore.com. And we also have, for the very first time, our electronic bookcase where you can actually go buy Relmar books. You can buy the X Chronicles newspaper, 99 cents for the newspaper instead of the newsstand price of $4.95. So you're saving a couple of bucks there. And the X-Zone Directory of Who's Who 2014 edition is available electronically for $5.99. If you go to Amazon.com, it's going to cost you $19.95 plus shipping. So you can find out all about that at thexzonestore.com. Wow, what a day it's been. We just found out about a half hour ago that the one and only Robin Williams has passed away as an apparent suicide. We're going to be checking into that later on the show. But my guest this hour is a young lady I've had the pleasure of talking to several times over the years. She is the astrologer to the X-Zone. Tara Greene is her name. She's a certified transformational psychotherapist, a professional spirited psychic, and life coach with over 23 years experience with over 29,000 clients using tarot, astrology, and dreams as metaphysical tools. Tara leads corporate communication workshops, women's spirituality workshops, teaches courses and online workshops, and leads healing ceremonies in Sedona, Arizona. Tara began life as an artist, graduating with honors from AOCAD. She's traveled to numerous sacred sites where she received transformational initiations. Tara has studied with numerous teachers, Tibetan Buddhist, Peruvian shamans, psychotherapeutic workshops, Susan Weed, Starhawk, as well as her own spirit guides. Joining me now is Tara Greene. And Tara, welcome back to the X-Zone. It's been a long time, dear friend.
Yes, it has, Rob, but I'm very glad to be back. I think, actually, I first started out in the X-Zone 10 years ago.
Yeah, it has to be
that. So time has definitely gone by, but it's always very nice to be back.
Tara, we were talking briefly about Robin Williams, a great actor. He had a lot to live for, as we on the outside world would see it. But apparently, he had some financial problems due to his several marriages and lifestyle. And apparently, he declared bankruptcy, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think what I'd heard is that he was kind of near to bankruptcy because of some very expensive divorces. And I started to just look briefly because I'd heard the news. And Robin Williams I always loved comedians, and I always secretly wanted to be a comedian because I figured if you were a comedian, that was like the best doctoring. If you can make people laugh, you're going to heal them. So I know that he was actually, rest in peace, Robin, under very stressful aspects like what's going on in the world right now astrologically. And so I feel like, that last show he tried to put together on TV wasn't very successful, and I think he just was probably very proud, and, whether it was consciously or unconsciously, just, easier for him to just go. But it was funny because I was just looking for a movie that he had made, one of my favorite movies there's still a video store in my neighborhood called What Dreams May Come.
Right.
And it's an amazing movie, and it was one of the first special effects movies, and in it's been years since I've seen it, but he's working in dreams and lucid dreams, and I think the couple in the movie, they lose their daughter, but he starts to be able to, and his wife starts to be able to see into these other dimensions, and then his wife sort of has a nervous breakdown, and then she commits suicide, and he actually can manage to go get her from the other side. So it was a very spiritual movie. And I was just thinking about this for like days in the last while. So it's kind of interesting that in the movie, like suicide, which was always considered from a religious point of view, something that you don't do, he kind of redeemed it in the movie, interestingly enough.
Wow. Tara, you and I have to take our first 2-minute commercial break. Please stand by. Exonation, Tara Greene is our very special guest. And Tara, what's the best website for our listeners to get a hold of you at?
You can go to my main website, which needs an overhaul, but it's www.taratarot.com, taratarot.com.
Taratarot.com is the website. The young lady's name is Tara Greene. And Tara and I will be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Once again, if you'd like to send an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can always Facebook us, Twitter us. We're all over the net and all over the social media sites. One simple address, X Zone Radio TV. I'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute break. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Exonation, Tara Greene is our special guest. www.taratarot.com is her website. She's also available on Facebook. She's on YouTube. This young lady even has her own blog spot. It's infinitynow.wordpress.com. You know, we were talking, Tara, about the state of the world, and how does the state of the world reflect in astrology these days?
Well, I would say the state of the world, the old Hermetic axiom was as above, so below. So astrology, which people don't really understand, was the original divination tool that astronomers and astrologers were one and the same, and the original physicians were astrologers. So by watching the, sacred geometric patterns that the planets and the sun and the moon make as they move around, the maxim is as above, so below. So we are still in the middle of what's called the big cardinal crosses between Uranus and Pluto, and those two planets, which are called transpersonal planets because they move so slowly, are the two planets that created the 60s, and coincidentally this week I believe it's the 45th anniversary of Woodstock.
Yeah.
So those two planets were together kind of impelling kind of Woodstock and that whole cultural revolution which the Beatles, kind of personified and spearheaded, So right now we're in this 45 years is kind of like what they call a semi-square to where we were then. So everybody who was born anywhere from the mid-60s to, like, I'd say, 69 is feeling this pressure that that was just the seeding phase then, and now the real cultural revolution on all levels really needs to begin. And so we're seeing, a lot of chaos, a lot of, this thing between Russia and Ukraine and, suddenly coming up, or the Arab Spring that started in, 2010 that was created by Uranus entering Aries. So, we're still in the middle of this. 2014 has been very, very intense because there was two other planets involved in this, Jupiter and Mars in April. And we're going to get another hit of this in October, but it's not over yet. It continues well into 2015. So, it's pretty intense for certain people. A lot of my clients I see coming in, their lives are falling apart big time for one reason or another. It could be divorces, they're losing their jobs, health. I mean, not that these things don't happen anyway, but, if you look at it from an astrological point of view, you would see that this is the kind of thing where your old life or your old ego or your old identity has to kind of crash and burn for you to kind of wake up and get real and kind of start to move from what your own soulful kind of authority is.
So is this a time of reinventing yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we're also, of course, it's very much a technological revolution as well, right? Yeah. The planet Uranus rules new technology. So, we're just at the beginning edge of, they're going to be able to print anything. Do you know what I mean? Like what's starting now, this is just a new beginning and really going into a really super high-tech age, which has its benefits but also has its downside.
It sure does.
Yeah. So I would say that, governments, revolution, this is mainly the theme. People want independence, they want to be free, a lot of wars. I mean, things are starting to get heated up again. The planets have been in water for the last 2 or 3 years, and now they're starting to move into fire over the next 2 or 3 years. So fire is action, and that's aggression. So we've been in this relatively kind of peaceful phase for the last 2 or 3 years. It's going to start to get more aggressive again.
Look what's happening between, like you were saying, the Ukraine and Russia, and how the United States seems to be getting drawn in over there. The European Union is getting drawn against Putin. We have what's going on in Gaza. We have what's going on in Israel. We have what's going on in Iran. My Lord, the world is going nuts, going to hell in a handbasket.
Well, that is part of the nature of this time. And, sort of these big clashing forces. Like